Our top focus here on First Up at 9 a.m. Madhya Pradesh Cabinet Minister Kailash Vijayvargiya, who has very recently been elevated also within the Bharatiya Janata Party rank and file, has stoked a controversy after he made a shockingly insensitive comment about TV journalist Akshay Singh's death. Now, Shivraj's minister took a jibe at Akshay's death by calling himself more important than the deceased journalist who dials wide reporting on the Vyapam scam. You don't believe me? Listen into what he said.
एक पत्रकार की मौत हो गई है। आज इस पे बात करें आप। पीछे आपने मंत्रिमंडल
पत्रकार छोड़ दे यार, हमसे बड़ा पत्रकार है क्या
सर?
स्वर्गीय अक्षय के प्रति तो मेरी सहानुभूति। मैं तो दिल्ली आया उनके घर बैठने के लिए, उनके बारे में तो सोच भी नहीं सकता सपने में, पर गलत संदर्भ में उसको जोड़ा गया है।
Let's go across to Kamlesh Sutar, who joins us from Jhabua. Now, Kamlesh, it's tragic that at a time when we should actually be asking the Madhya Pradesh government what sort of investigation they are actually carrying out, you have ministers like Mr. Kailash Vijayvargiya who are, as Javed said just a bulletin back, where he said that, insensitive is an understatement in the way the minister is choosing to deal with this particular situation. What is the response on the ground?
Well, indeed, Sanket, the minister's statements have invited a lot of criticism, not only from the political circles, but also on the social networking sites, and also from the Aam Aadmi here in Madhya Pradesh. We have been speaking to a lot of people since yesterday and even this morning, and everybody has criticized the kind of statement, calling them insensitive and coming at an inappropriate time, particularly when a senior journalist dies in a mysterious circumstances. The matter is being probed. The nation is watching, keeping its eyes on the entire probe, and a minister making those statements certainly is not only insensitive but also not in line with the kind of sentiments that are about the death overall. And talking about the investigations, Sanket, the local cops who are investigating the entire matter are expecting the post-mortem that was conducted in Dahod to be out today. They are expecting it, and as they have been saying that the cause of the death and the circumstances leading to the death, whether it is natural or unnatural, and in what circumstances it occurred, will be their key to the further investigations. And once the report is out, the entire investigations would be focused around the cause of the death, the immediate cause of the death, immediate cause of the death. So that will be the focus of the investigations henceforth. Shivraj Singh Chauhan, let me also tell you, is expected in Machliya in Dahod today, and we will be posing in some tough questions, also asking him about the kind of investigation and the statements that his minister has made yesterday. Okay, Kamlesh, do stay on with us. Let's quickly also go across to Javed Ansari, India Today's executive editor, who joins us on the phone line. Javed, you were actually saying that these statements made by Kailash Vijayvargiya, insensitive is perhaps an understatement, and you seem to be suggesting that it almost appears, and with your sort of experience, you would know when political leaders make certain statements, what is a genuine comment and what is genuinely an afterthought. Can you just elaborate on what you actually felt with Kailash Vijayvargiya making that statement?
I find it highly outrageous that he should make a comment, such an outrageous comment about somebody, about a colleague who has just died. I often wonder what kind of men are these who not only show no respect to the dead, but are even downright insulting. And I'm also intrigued by the silence of the Chief Minister. This outrageous comment was made in the presence of the Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister, with no apparent effort from his side on either trying to restrain or to reprimand his colleague. What does this say of him?
Absolutely, Javed, and what gives people like Mr. Kailash Vijayvargiya the sort of confidence to get away with all these things? I mean, Rajdeep Sardesai, consulting editor, also joins us. Rajdeep, just before we come across to you, let's quickly play out that reaction. When journalists pose that question, look at that smile on Mr. Kailash Vijayvargiya's face. Let's quickly listen into that small portion, and then I'll come across to you.
सर, एक पत्रकार की मौत हो गई है।
आज इस पे बात करें आप।
पीछे आपने मंत्रिमंडल
पत्रकार छोड़ दे यार, हमसे बड़ा पत्रकार है क्या
सर? मंत्रिमंडल कैलाश
सर, एक पत्रकार की मौत हो गई है।
कैलाश आज इसी पे बात करें आप।
पीछे आईडी पीछे आपने मंत्रिमंडल
पत्रकार छोड़ दे यार, हमसे बड़ा पत्रकार है क्या?
सर, मंत्रिमंडल
All right, let's go across to consulting editor Rajdeep Sardesai. Morning, Rajdeep. What do you make of Mr. Kailash Vijayvargiya? I mean, it's a sad commentary that only recently a person who has been infamous for making comments. If you recall, Rajdeep, he also said कि अगर औरत मर्यादा लांघेगी तो लक्ष्मण रेखा पार हो जाएगी, कुछ भी हो सकता है. He has been infamous for making such comments. In this particular case, the least that one was expecting was some amount of sensitivity.
That's right, absolutely. And just half an hour ago, I spoke to the Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh
Well,
Chauhan.
Rajdeep, Kailash Vijayvargiya is on the phone line. Do you want to ask a question to him? Mr. Vijayvargiya can hear you.
कैलाश विजयवर्गीय, मैंने अभी मुख्यमंत्री शिवराज सिंह चौहान से भी बात की, आपके संदर्भ में बात हुई और उन्होंने भी माना कि आपकी कमेंट जो थी काफी हल्के तरह से आपने ये कमेंट किए हैं. क्या आप मानते हैं कि आपने गलती की या नहीं?
नहीं, मैं तो बहुत दुखी हूँ इस बात से, क्योंकि अच्छे से मेरी दोस्ती जब से वो की थी में से, और मैंने संवेदना भी व्यक्त कर दी थी पहले, पर ये विषय मुझसे किसी के बारे में पूछा था उन्होंने कि आपने इस्तीफा दिया क्या विदेश राजपूत में. तो मैंने कहा कि नहीं, अब इस के बारे में कुछ नहीं समझा. तो उन्होंने कहा इतना वरिष्ठ पत्रकार बोल रहा, तो मैंने एकदम कह दिया कि पत्रकार क्या होता है विदेश, और ऐसा करके व्यक्तिगत मेरी बातचीत थी वो. नहीं, लेकिन जिस संदर्भ में विजयवर्गीय जी, जिस संदर्भ में ये कमेंट आपने किया, क्या जिस पूरे कॉन्टेक्स्ट में हुआ, क्या आप मानते हैं कि आपने ये कमेंट नहीं करना चाहिए था, क्योंकि उससे लोगों को एक गलत संदेश जाता है कि कैलाश विजयवर्गीय संवेदनशील नहीं है, सेंसिटिव नहीं है. एक ऐसे दिन जब एक पत्रकार की मौत होती है, आप कहते हैं मुझसे बड़ा पत्रकार कोई नहीं. देखिए, मैं उनके यहाँ भी बैठने आया हूँ दिल्ली. मेरे उनसे संबंध आज के नहीं है, 10 साल पुराने. अच्छा जी से मैं जब मेयर था, जब वो बिजनेस में काम करते थे, तो हमने साल पर डिनर भी किया था. और मैं उनके बारे में ये उनके जाने के बाद ये सब बोल दो, ये तो मतलब मेरा मन बहुत दुखी है, और इसको गलत तरीके से इंटरप्रेट किया गया. मेरे से ये प्रश्न ही नहीं पूछा, मेरे से इस्तीफे के बारे में प्रश्न पूछा था. उस संदर्भ में मैंने जवाब दिया था. गलत संदर्भ में गलत क्लिपिंग को जोड़कर इसको दिखाया जा रहा है. आप क्षमा करें, कम से कम मैं अगर बोलता तो मेरे में इतना साहस है कि मैं माफी मांग लेता कि हाँ मैंने बोला और मैं माफी चाहता हूँ, गलत शब्द निकल गया. पर मैंने जिस विषय में चर्चा ही नहीं, उस संदर्भ को इससे जोड़कर अगर करेंगे तो ये तो ठीक बात नहीं. तब पर आप मानते हैं कि जिस तरह से ये जिस गंभीरता से ये मामला लिया जाना चाहिए, उस गंभीरता के संदर्भ में किसी भी व्यक्ति को, खास करके आप जैसे व्यक्ति जो बड़े पद पर बैठे हुए हैं, उन्होंने किसी को ये संदेश नहीं देना चाहिए कि मैं ये बात हल्की तरह से ले रहा हूँ या हंस के ले रहा हूँ. ये क्या आप मानते हैं या नहीं? नहीं, मैं कह रहा हूँ ना कि मेरे से संदर्भ में मेरे से अक्षय के बारे में कोई प्रश्न ही नहीं पूछा गया और मैंने जवाब ही नहीं दिया. मेरे से इस्तीफे के बारे में पूछा गया, वो जवाब दिया मैंने. और उसको अगर इस संदर्भ से जोड़कर अगर आप दोनों को मिलाएंगे तो मेरे साथ जाती है. तो आप स्वयं सोचिए, मेरी जगह अगर आप हो और जिस विषय पर मेरे से प्रश्न नहीं पूछा गया, उस प्रश्न के उत्तर में आप अगर मेरा नाम जोड़ रहे हैं, ये तो जोड़ने वाले की गलती, मेरी गलती थोड़ी. और अगर मेरे में इतना साहस है कि अगर मैं बोलता ना तो सार्वजनिक रूप से माफी मांग लेता कि हाँ मेरे मुंह से निकला है ये. पर जब मैंने नहीं बोला तो मैं आज भी कह रहा हूँ, 10 बार बोलूंगा कि मैंने नहीं बोला. और मेरी सहानुभूति उस परिवार के साथ भी है, और वो मेरे मित्र थे. मैंने 10 साल पहले उनके साथ डिनर किया है इंदौर में श्रीमाया होटल में. Sanket, you are seeing from what Kailash Vijayvargiya is saying. He is claiming that the context has been misinterpreted, that he was responding to a comment from a journalist seeking his resignation.
No, Rajdeep, Mr. Vijayvargiya, अगर आप अभी फोन लाइन पर हैं, मैं आपसे ये सवाल पूछना चाहता हूं. हमारे पास वो पूरा सीक्वेंस है, Mr. Vijayvargiya. Okay, we'll try connecting to Mr. Vijayvargiya all over again, but Rajdeep, we have the whole sequence, and that is why, for the benefit of our viewers, we played that whole sequence. The question, very categorically, is on Akshay Singh. This response has been on Akshay Singh. As Javed mentions, it appears to be an afterthought, where he's now taking a moralistic position. And even at a time like this, Rajdeep, don't you think that in politics, which is the world of perception, it is a bad thing to do, the most insensitive form of politicking?
To be fair, when I spoke to Mr. Shivraj Singh Chauhan half an hour ago, he also gave the same reasoning today that Kailash Vijayvargiya is doing, saying that journalists there were also asking about the resignation of Mr. Vijayvargiya, something which got under the skin clearly of the Madhya Pradesh leader. I think the manner in which both, in particular, Mr. Vijayvargiya seems to respond to public questioning often leaves scope for questioning, because he tends to, be very dismissive or tends to make comments that, as you said, in the past have also got him into trouble. I think at a time when a journalist has died in tragic circumstances, the focus should have entirely been on that, both from the minister and from the journalist concerned, rather than bring in extraneous issues. And I think Mr. Vijayvargiya should realize that as someone who holds a public office, he has to be extremely sensitive when he makes these kind of remarks at such a time. So while he can now claim that the context was perhaps that he was speaking in a different context, and that may well be true, the fact is that Mr. Vijayvargiya must realize that the interpretation which will be given the sequence of events as you played out, will clearly be seen by all journalists to be in the context of the death of the journalist. So I think Mr. Vijayvargiya should learn the lesson that when you're in public life, you need to be extra sensitive. Someone like him in particular needs to be extra sensitive and recognize that statements and the laughter that he evoked after the statement are clearly disrespectful and clearly a sign of insensitivity at a time like this.
Disrespectful, insensitive, and I would say to a great extent brazen. That's really what Kailash Vijayvargiya has actually done. Rajdeep, thanks very much for joining us this morning. Javed, before I come across to you, let's quickly play out that reaction once again. When questions were posed to Mr. Vijayvargiya, this is how he chose to respond.
सर, एक पत्रकार की मौत हो गई है।
आज इस पे बात करें आप।
पीछे आईडी पीछे आपने मंत्रिमंडल
पत्रकार छोड़ दे यार, हमसे बड़ा पत्रकार है क्या?
सर, मंत्रिमंडल सर, एक पत्रकार की मौत हो गई है।
आज इस पे बात करें आप।
पीछे आईडी पीछे आपने मंत्रिमंडल
पत्रकार छोड़ दे यार, हमसे बड़ा पत्रकार है क्या?
सर, मंत्रिमंडल एक पत्रकार की मौत हो गई है।
आज इस पे बात करें आप।
पीछे आईडी पीछे आपने मंत्रिमंडल
पत्रकार छोड़ दे यार, हमसे बड़ा पत्रकार है क्या?
सर,
स्वर्गीय अक्षय के प्रति तो मेरी सहानुभूति, मैं तो दिल्ली आया उनके घर बैठने के लिए, उनके बारे में तो सोच भी नहीं सकता सपने में, पर गलत संदर्भ में उसको जोड़ा गया है।
Javed, would request if you could stay on for just a short moment. We have Nalini Singh joining us at this moment. Ms. Singh, you must have heard this particular statement. Mr. Kailash Vijayvargiya now comes out and says that he was responding to a totally different question. We have this whole sequence which, for the benefit of our viewers, we are playing out. He was clearly responding to a question on the journalist where he says, "Patrakar chodo, kya humse bada patrakar hai kya?" Don't you think that this is insensitive, disrespectful and also brazen? Where does Mr. Vijayvargiya get all this confidence from to say things like these?
Where is he getting all this arrogance from? Where is he? Has he forgotten that actually he is a sevak? He is somebody who's here to perform a public service. What is the meaning of this? This is extraordinary. This is unacceptable. And this also is very worrying, I think, for the Madhya Pradesh government and for the NDA government at the center. Because these are these flashes that give you flashes at night that give you the landscape. This is the lightning strike that shows you the landscape. So I would say that this is a landscape that is not acceptable. Here is a journalist who has died, and this is a series of mysterious deaths. We don't know at all at this stage whether a 38-year-old's death should be called a natural death. But we can raise the question of a very serious nature that this is, according to the Congress, the 44th death, according to official statistics, the 24th or 25th death. It's bad enough if a person even takes ill during an investigation. There are people dying. So for a senior BJP minister, such as Mr. Vijayvargiya, who has actually been... for such a long time.
Ms. Singh, we are going to ask these questions to the senior leadership of the Bharatiya Janata Party, whether they agree with Mr. Vijayvargiya, whether they think what he has done is justified, whether they will let him off with a warning, or whether they will understand the seriousness of this situation and perhaps contemplate some sort of an action against him. Let me quickly go across to Javed Ansari. Javed, you heard what Kailash Vijayvargiya told India Today just a short while ago. What do you make of his defense? Isn't it weak?
It just doesn't wash. It's a very, very poor attempt at trying to make up. This is not even an afterthought. It's a very, very poor attempt. We have played this umpteen times, and throughout the day we'll be playing it for the benefit of the viewers. He's now trying to say that he was answering a totally different question. He's being economical with the truth. This was certainly not the case. He says, "Patrakar chodo, mere se bada patrakar kaun hai?" What is the reference to context? What was he talking about?
Absolutely,
and I agree 100% with what Nalli ji is saying. That he's a sevak. He's been put there. He's a minister. He's sworn by the Constitution. He cannot be displaying this kind of arrogance. And nothing lasts forever. Nobody's in power forever.
Absolutely, Javed as well as Nalini Singh. Thanks very much for joining us. Let's quickly listen in to Kailash Vijayvargiya's defense to Rajdeep Sardesai just a short while back. He actually gave us a telephonic interview. Let's listen in to what he said.
मैं तो बहुत दुखी हूँ इस बात से, क्योंकि अच्छे से मेरी दोस्ती जब से वो जीती हुई में थे और मैंने संवेदना भी व्यक्त कर दी थी पहले, पर ये विषय मुझसे इसी के बारे में पूछा था उन्होंने कि आपने इस्तीफा दिया क्या विदेश राजपूत में। तो मैंने कहा कि नहीं, अभी के बारे में कुछ नहीं पता। तो उन्होंने कहा इतना वरिष्ठ पत्रकार बोल रहा है, तो मैंने एकदम कह दिया कि पत्रकार क्या होता है विदेश, और ऐसा करके व्यक्तिगत मेरी बातचीत थी वो।
नहीं, लेकिन जिस संदर्भ में विजयवर्गीय जी, जिस संदर्भ में ये कमेंट आपने किया, क्या जिस पूरे कॉन्टेक्स्ट में हुआ है, क्या आप मानते हैं कि आपने ये कमेंट नहीं करना चाहिए था, क्योंकि उससे लोगों को एक गलत संदेश जाता है कि कैलाश विजयवर्गीय संवेदनशील नहीं है, सेंसिटिव नहीं है। एक ऐसे दिन जब एक पत्रकार की मौत होती है, आप कहते हैं मुझसे बड़ा पत्रकार कोई नहीं।
देखिए, मैं उनके यहाँ भी बैठने आया हूँ दिल्ली। मेरे उनसे संबंध आज के नहीं है, 10 साल पुराने। अच्छा जी से मैं जब मेयर था, जब वो बिजनेस में काम करते थे, तो हमने साल तक भी किया था। और मैं उनके बारे में ये उनके जाने के बाद ये सब बोल दो, ये तो मतलब मेरा मन बहुत दुखी है और इसको गलत तरीके से इंटरप्रेट किया गया। मेरे से ये प्रश्न ही नहीं पूछा, मेरे से इस्तीफे के बारे में प्रश्न पूछा था। उस संदर्भ में मैंने जवाब दिया था। गलत संदर्भ में गलत क्लिपिंग को जोड़कर इनको दिखाया जा रहा है। आप क्षमा करें, कम से कम मैं अगर बोलता तो मेरे में इतना साहस है कि मैं माफी मांग लेता कि हाँ मैंने बोला और मैं माफी चाहता हूँ, गलत शब्द निकल गया। पर मैंने जिस विषय में चर्चा ही नहीं, उस संदर्भ को इससे जोड़कर अगर करेंगे तो ये तो ठीक बात नहीं।
तब पर आप मानते हैं कि जिस तरह से ये जिस गंभीरता से ये मामला लिया जाना चाहिए, उस गंभीरता के संदर्भ में किसी भी व्यक्ति को, खास करके आप जैसे व्यक्ति जो बड़े पद पर बैठे हुए हैं, उन्होंने किसी को ये संदेश नहीं देना चाहिए कि मैं ये बात हल्की तरह से ले रहा हूँ या हंस के ले रहा हूँ। ये क्या आप मानते हैं या नहीं?
नहीं, मैं कह रहा हूँ ना कि मेरे से संदर्भ में मेरे से अक्षय के बारे में कोई प्रश्न ही नहीं पूछा गया और मैंने जवाब ही नहीं दिया। मेरे से इस्तीफे के बारे में पूछा गया, वो जवाब दिया मैंने। और उसको अगर इस संदर्भ से जोड़कर अगर आप दोनों को मिलाएंगे तो मेरे साथ जाती है। तो आप स्वयं सोचिए, मेरी जगह अगर आप हो और जिस विषय पर मेरे से प्रश्न नहीं पूछा गया, उस प्रश्न के उत्तर में आप अगर मेरा नाम जोड़ रहे हैं, ये तो जोड़ने वाले की गलती, मेरी गलती थोड़ी। और अगर मेरे में इतना साहस है कि अगर मैं बोलता ना तो सार्वजनिक रूप से माफी मांग लेता कि हाँ मेरे मुंह से निकला है ये। पर
all right, that was Kailash Vijayvargiya, in fact, speaking to consulting editor of India Today Group, Rajdeep Sardesai, just a short while back on this particular statement that he has made. Even if we were to take this particular claim, which Javed Ansari feels is an afterthought, on face value, even then, this, at a point like this, when you have the Madhya Pradesh government in its worst possible crisis, political crisis at this moment as far as this scam is concerned, absolute low as far as credibility is concerned, where the official estimates suggest that there are as many as 26 deaths in the Vyapam scam. A statement like this is insensitive, disrespectful and brazen. That's really what is in fact going on in the Madhya Pradesh government, and with politics being a world of perception, this is not going to help Shivraj Singh Chauhan, who was a curious bystander right in those pictures when this comment was made, and Mr. Vijayvargiya was smiling away as he made that statement.